Go to chapter 8, income elasticity of demand. So when we talk about income elasticity of demand, income itself means the amount of money an individual make over a period of time.
Yes.
So that means income can be one of the factors that determines the quantity demanded of a product. So it becomes a factor. Because it's a factor, it means as soon as income can either increase or decrease. So as soon as this happens, consumers would have to, readjust their spending or their consumption. Yes. So that is what brings about income elasticity. So let's go down and see. What is income elasticity of demand? One of the main factors that can change the demand for products is the amount of income consumers have to spend. So income elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness of demand to a change in income. So income elasticity of demand is the degree of responsiveness between the quantity demanded of a product as a result of a change in the level of income. So here this year we should consider two products, A and B. If income rises by 10% and demand for product A rises by 25%, the change in the demand is proportionately greater than the change in income. Economists will say that the product for product A is income elastic. So if the price of the product, if the demand for a product, if the income of a product, or if the demand for a product rises above the level of income, then it is income elastic. That is the point they are making there. Do you get it? Did you get it or not, please?
Yes.
Okay. So economists will say that, okay, economists will say that demand for is income elastic. Demand for many goods and services is income elastic. Examples might include cars, fashion accessories, entertainment, holidays, and a wide range of luxury goods. In contrast, if the demand for product B only rose by 5%, economists will say that the demand for product B is income inelastic. This is because the percentage increase or change in demand is proportionately less than the percentage change in the level of income. So demand for some goods and services may be income inelastic. Examples are likely to be essential goods such as milk, food in general, and eating fuel. So if the level of income changes and the quantity demanded does not increase at the same level, then we'll say the demand for the product is income inelastic. I think the point is clear there. Great. So that is about income elasticity. So we'll go to the calculation of income elasticity. The calculation is percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in the level of income, which is still the same. So we'll go to normal and inferior goods. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay. The value of income elasticity can show whether goods are normal goods or inferior goods. For normal goods, where an increase in income results in an increase in demand, the value of income elasticity will be positive. So for normal goods first, we call it normal goods because the quantity demanded increases as the level of income increases. And your YED calculation will give you a positive figure. That makes the good a normal good. I think the point is clear.
Yes.
Okay, so based on the calculation here, we have product A and product B above are both normal goods because they are positive.
Yes.
But one is elastic and the other one is income inelastic. I think the point is clear here.
Yes.
So for inferior goods, where, for example, an increase in income results in a decrease in demand, the value of income elasticity will be negative. So we call it inferior goods because as soon as the level of income increases, the quantity demanded reduces, which means it's going to give us a YED that is a negative value.
Yes.
So that makes it an inferior good. Is it clear?
Yes.
Any question about that? So go to the interpretation of numerical values of income elasticity of demand. We'll go to the interpretation of the numerical values of income elasticity of demand. The values calculated when we calculate our YED, we have different figures. So the figures might be 1. It could be greater than 1. So if the value we get in the course of calculating our YED gives us a value or figure that is greater than 1, it means that the demand for that product is income elastic. Do you get it? So that means, do you understand what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
So if the value of income elasticity is greater than 1, it means that the YED is income elastic for that product. If the value of income elasticity is less than 1, demand is said to be income inelastic. So let's say from 0.1 to 0.9, it is income inelastic. Clear? So, but we have to put in mind that it has to be positive. Okay, well, because it is when we are thinking about, is it how inferior it was or how normal it is anyway. But if it is greater than 1, it's an income elastic. Less than 1, income inelastic. Yes. So we go to the factors now. The factors influencing income elasticity of demand. The main factor affecting income elasticity of demand is whether or not goods are necessity or luxuries. So for necessities, these are basic goods that consumers need to buy. Examples include food in general, electricity, and water. Demand for this type of goods will be income inelastic. So for basic goods like food, clothing, shelter, water, whatever the price, whatever your level of income is, these things are what our living depends on. So we have to buy them. So it is income inelastic. It's clear, right?
Yes.
For luxuries, these are goods that consumers like to buy if they can afford them. Spending on this type of goods is discretionary, which means that customers can choose whether or not to make this purchase. So it's not compulsory. It depends on you and your level of income. So you can only you choose to buy these things if your level of income can afford it. So they are luxury. So whatever this type of goods are, their demand is always income elastic. Is it clear?
Yes.
The price of a product relative to incomes. So this can also influence income elasticity. Demand for products that are relatively cheap, such as pencils, will tend to be inelastic. However, demand for expensive items such as houses will be income elastic.
Yeah.
So it depends on the proportion of what your income it will be taken from your income. So if it's just going to take like pencil, how much is pencil? Whoever wants to buy it, you can afford it. So it's not so whatever happens with your income level, it will not affect the spending on pencil. So it is always income inelastic. Do you get it?
Yes.
But for cars, for houses, these ones their prices are high. So your level of income, if you have to pay for those things, if your level of income falls, you won't be able to afford such. So those type of goods are always income elastic. Do you get it? So if the proportion of what you have to spend as your income is just so little, it will be income inelastic. But if you have to spend large proportion of your income on certain goods, those goods that you have to spend large proportion of your income on are always income elastic. The ones that you spend less proportion of your income on are income inelastic. Is it clear?
Yes.
So that's about that. So we'll go to the significance of income elasticity of demand to business. We'll go to the significance of income elasticity of demand to our business. Businesses may be interested in income elasticity of demand because changes in income in the economy can affect the demand for their products. So businesses are one of the people that businesses are one of the institutions that needs to monitor, that have interest in the level of income in the economy, because the level of income will determine how their products will also be sold. If the level of income increases in the economy, the quantity of goods that they sell will also increase. So they have interest. So let's see how they have interest. One, business selling goods with high income elasticity. The demand for goods that are very sensitive to changes in income, that are highly income elastic, is often cyclical. So these are when the economy is growing, demand for this type of goods, such as air travel, restaurants, and luxury goods, is also growing. But when the income falls into recession, demand also falls. This can cause difficulties for such businesses. During a recession, they may lay off workers and postpone or cancel investment projects. Predicting demand for goods that are influenced by the business cycle can be quite difficult. So for businesses that their demand is always income elastic, they need to monitor, they need to be able to predict or they need to understand what happens within the economy. Because if the economy is growing, if the economy is witnessing boom, at that point in time, the demand for their product will also increase, because the level of income in that economy would have increased at that period of time.
Yes.
But if the economy is witnessing recession at that period of time, the demand for their product would fall, which means they might have to reduce the number of workforce, they might have to reduce their output. And reducing the number of workforce will mean that some people will be unemployed.
Yes.
So businesses that have income elastic will sell more when the economy is growing, when the economy is witnessing boom, and they will sell less when the economy is in decline.
Yes.
Or recession. I think the point is clear. Those are for income elastic. And they are basically luxury cars and
Yeah.
the businesses selling goods with low income elasticity. Demand for goods that are income inelastic tends to be more stable during the different phases of business cycle. For example, farmers are much less affected by income changes because demand for many food products is fairly stable. This makes production planning and investment decisions a little easier. In countries where economic growth is steady over a period of time, demand for inferior goods and normal goods tends to decline. The demand for inferior goods and normal necessities tend to decline. It could be argued that business operating in these sectors should attempt to diversify into goods with higher income elasticity of demand in the long run. So for businesses selling goods with low income elasticity, so it means whatever happens, the demand for such goods, it will be stable because their income inelastic. For like farming, whatever they sell, it's not that expensive.
Yes.
So because what they sell is not that expensive, the demand for it will be income inelastic. So whatever happens to our income level, it will not significantly affect the quantity demanded for such products. But the problem about this kind of business is that there's always decline in these things, because as soon as the level of income increases in the economy, people tend to forget about buying those things. So the demand for those products would fall because people start thinking about services, people start thinking about high level of things. So they won't buy at that period of time. As soon as the economy is growing, income level is increasing, people would forget about buying things that are always income inelastic. They'll start thinking about buying luxury. So the revenue for such businesses might fall. So it is advisable for such business to start thinking about investing or diversifying into selling goods that are always income elastic.
Yes.
Because if they sell goods that are income elastic, because the economy is growing, they will also grow their revenue through it. But if they continue to sell goods that are income inelastic, they won't sell much.
Yeah.
Because the focus is going to always be on goods that are income elastic, because the economy is moving on that direction. Is it clear?
Yes.
And the last one, I think, no, second to the last, product planning, production planning. If businesses know that income elasticity of demand for their products, if the businesses know the income elasticity of their products, they can respond to predicted changes in income. Businesses that produce goods that have income elastic demand will expect changes in income to affect demand. So if income are expected to rise in the future, they plan ahead, make sure that they have enough capacity. So production planning means that you already know your YED. You are able to predict your YED. It is all income elastic. And it is predicted that income is going to be, it's expected that income will increase in the future. So it allows you to plan ahead. Do you get it? It allows you to plan ahead because you know that in the future, the income of the economy would increase. And as a result, the demand for your product would increase.
Yes.
So you start planning ahead to increase your capacity so that your output can also increase, so that you'll be able to meet up with the demand in the economy as soon as income level rises.
Yes.
That is production planning. So it also affects businesses like that. So businesses will be able to plan ahead. Then product switching. Some manufacturers have flexible resources and can switch from the production of one product to another. For example, a manufacturer of plastic products may be able to switch from the production of plastic household goods to plastic toys. A predicted rise in incomes may encourage such a business to make more plastic toys if demand for them was income elastic. So what they are saying here is this: for product switching, if the demand for your product is income elastic, you know that the income level is increasing. Or if the demand for your product is, let's put it this way, if the demand for your product is income inelastic and demand in the economy is increasing. So, and you know that there are some products in the economy that their demand is product elastic. So you can switch to producing that product in as much as you have the flexibility to do so. So that is about product switching.
Yes. With
YED, businesses are able to, to switch production to producing what is in vogue, what people start buying based on how their level of income has increased.
Yes.
But you'll be able to do that because you have predicted the YED and you have the flexibility to switch production. So this is how the changes in income elasticity will affect businesses. It brings about product switching, it brings about production, it brings about product switching, it brings about production planning, planning of the production.
Yeah.
It brings about what else does it bring about? Product switching, planning, production.
Selling goods.
Yeah, it affects products that sells their product. It affects products that have income elastic, and it also affects products that have income elastic.
Yes.
Yeah, income elastic, income inelastic, product planning, and product switching. So that is all what income elasticity of demand will affect. Any question about that? So we have a case study.